This video was produced by The Top Cut. Be sure to check out thetopcut.net, your home for Pokemon TCG, tournament coverage, professional game analysis, and interviews with the best players in the world. Thanks for watching.
Hey guys, this is Pram and welcome to the top 4 of the Delaware State Championships. On our left we have Stephan Robinson, and on our right we have Luke Reed. Luke is going first, and he starts with a Tyrogue and a Mewtwo. So, if you recall to our earlier videos, Luke is running Zekrom Eelektrik, so this is yet again another Zekrom Eelektrik mirror. Strap yourselves in and enjoy the ride. So you do see Stephan starting with a Zekrom, or Zekrom EX rather. Not the best starter for him. It does have 3 retreat, so he is going to have some problems using the most ideal turn, which would be like turn 1 charge, or in this case, turn 1 Mischievous Punch, knocking out Luke's Tyrogue. So, Stephan is kind of in a little tough shape just based on his starter. And Luke is actually Luke's going to have the turn 1 charge coming in, and it looks like he's going to be able to get Dynamo too. So he's going to be in pretty good shape for this mirror match. It is unfortunate for Luke, though, that he does have a Mewtwo on the bench. Now, the reason he plays this down and before the game starts is he really doesn't. He would have started with Tyrogue, so he doesn't want to get. If he goes second, he doesn't want to get Tyrogued out of the game. So he's forced to play down his only other basic, which just happens to be Mewtwo. Now, this could work to Stephan's advantage if he's able to drop a Mewtwo of his own, load like 4 energies and a plus power on it, and then one-shot Luke's Mewtwo. Then Stephan could just potentially run away with the game thanks to this little development. So, we do see another dual ball and double tails. And a charge. Alright, so now it's on to Stephan's turn, and he does draw a Mewtwo. He's probably going to want to save that, though. So, let's see. He has N, Lightning. Let's see. Oh, he has a dual ball, so that's good. I think I saw a Junk Arm in his hand. One thing he could do if he doesn't get, I don't know how many heads he got, but if he didn't get double heads, and if he wants to set up, it looks like he did get 2 heads. He could still do this, but he could have held the Lightning and Junk, if there's a Junk Arm, and discarded 2 Lightning for Junk Arm. Use Dual Ball again, just to get the Lightning in the discard for Dynamotors later, and then use N. I think Junk Arm is in there. Yeah, there it is. Or use Pont, rather. I actually feel like N is good here, too. I think Pont's better, though, because did Luke play a card after that? His own Pont? Not really sure. Not a big deal. I just sometimes like saving Ponts for the end game. So if he's running 4N, then he can definitely use one now. But if he's only running 3, he might want to save it. So we see another dual ball. Getting more Pokemon. Just gonna fill up on Dynamos here. Maybe even a so he gets 2 basics this time. Maybe he even gets Tyrogue for a counter knockout. Or it looks like he has Tyrogue in his hand. So I guess he would get a Mewtwo here, and just say, hey, yeah, Mewtwo, and just go, yep, that Mewtwo on your bench, I'm gonna try and knock it out if I can. If I get the chance to, it's going down. So I think that's pretty much all Stephan's gonna do this turn. If he had a switch, he would have gotten Thundurus. Well, no, he already attached. So, yeah, I think that Stephan's just going to pass and let Luke lead. Now, Luke, here, he's going to be able to evolve. He's going to be able to do a bunch of cool stuff. What he might consider... Well, he has a catcher, so he's going to just go knock out an eel. But if he didn't, what he could have did was maybe attack it with Thunderous, attack the Zekrom EX with Thunderous, and then say, hey, I'm just gonna try and knock out that Zekrom, and then I'm gonna go for other Pokemon later. Maybe go for a Mewtwo later, things like that. But he's just gonna attack with either Tyrogue or a Thunderous. I kind of want to see a Thunderous get in, or I'm sorry, maybe Tyrogue get in there. Hard to say. If he gets Tails, then he could just get counter knocked out right away by his opponent's Tyrogue. But it is a nice way to get energy into discard. On Tails, he gets to stay asleep. So it looks like he's just gonna retreat and use Mischievous Punch. Okay. And he wakes up. So now Stephan's he has the Tyrogue, so he's gonna just knock out Tyrogue with his own Tyrogue. Kind of the downside when everyone runs Tyrogue is that, hey, I'm just weak to everyone. Cool deal. But yeah, we do see a DCE on Zekrom, so it's getting very dangerous for Luke. Let's see. So a normal Zekrom. And I think there's a Juniper? Yep. Juniper, he got rid of Lightning and Thunderous, and I don't know what the other one was. So we do see, he drew an Eel and a Level Ball, so Stephan's going to be in great shape for this game. He's pretty much stabilized, and he's going to be tied back up on prizes. He's going to have answers for any attacker, and I think Stephan's actually in prime position to start running away with the game. Yep. And then he's just going to use Level Ball here, get the second Eel, and then just Mischievous Punch. So, let's see, this is turn 2 for Stephan. Yeah, turn 2 for Stephan, and he just pretty much has everything. So, good stuff. And Luke, on the other hand, he's struggling. He does have 40 HP Dynamo, so he will not have free retreat for this, but it looks like he probably should not need it as long as he draws an energy. There's one. Yeah. So he's going to be able to Disaster Volt at least the Tyrogue for a prize. He may go for maybe a Catcher plus power if he has it. Oh, he does have it. So there's a plus power, and maybe he's just playing plus power anyways, just because he has Juniper. But he really needs to start getting some Eels online. And he goes, so he goes plus power Pont. So he's basically doing this just to leave himself if he draws Catcher, he'll give himself the option. If he doesn't draw Catcher, then he can just knock out Tyrogue. Yeah. Tyrogue. So, yeah, that's a pretty nice move. I like it. And yep, here we go. Unfortunately for Luke, no Eelektrik though, so he is going to be stuck on those two Dynamos. And however, Stephan will be responding with Zekrom of his own, so he's going to just get in there with Zekrom, knock out the Thunderous, and then just be like, hey, I'm doing 150 with Strong Volt. Can you deal with me? No? Okay. GG. And it's going to be up to Luke to really just get his board into position to just keep up with Stephan. However, Stephan is down 2 Dynamos, so it's unclear whether he has a 4th Dynamo, or if that's all 3 of them, and he's going to have to use Super Rod to get his Dynamos back. So let's see, what do you do here, Stephan? Maybe you just Dynamo to Zekrom EX and go, yeah, I'm going to Strong Volt twice. Okay, so we do see a energy to Zekrom, and maybe he's just out of Lightning in his discard, so he can't Dynamotor. It's probably the reason. So we do see a Mewtwo coming up for Luke. Probably holding maybe some way to get some Eels out. And I think I see a Zekrom in his hand, the promo one. Or what he could do is just go DCE, either catcher Tyrogue, or just hit the Zekrom for 100. Both are pretty viable options. I kind of like maybe doing 100 to the Zekrom because you have to deal with it eventually. It's actually just really, really strong, and if it needs to be dealt with right away, or else it'll just run away with the game. Plus, Stephan could, if he has plus power junk arm, he will just one-shot Mewtwo. So, you never want to have your Mewtwo just get one-shotted by a Zekrom and not do any real damage. But it looks like Luke does have the catcher, so he will have this tough choice of... Okay, so he does just go with 100 damage onto Zekrom, saving the catcher for later. He's like, okay, I'm going to be able to catcher your stuff later, and right now I'm just going to threat to knock out your Zekrom right here on my next turn. And what's Stephan's response? Maybe he'll definitely use Strong Volt this turn, I believe, but maybe he'll have the 2+ powers he needs to do it. If he does, then I think Stephan might just win the... No. He won't just win the game, but he'll be in really good shape. So, let's see. He does have a catcher. He junk arms, discarding Level Ball and a Thunderous. And let's see what he gets. If he has a plus power in there, he is going to get Dual Ball. Maybe he's looking for Mewtwo. I think he's going for Mewtwo here, and maybe another Zekrom, if he has one. Going for 2 Mewtwo. Okay. So, I'm not sure what he's planning to do with these Mewtwo's. He might just play them down and just go, okay, this is just going to turn into one giant EX war, and that's his plan. And now, let's see if he goes for... Yeah, he goes just Junipers, and let's see if he can get the 2+ powers he needs. I see a junk guy. And nope, no plus powers, just a bunch of dual balls, some catchers, and junk arms. So there's nothing really else he can really get, but I'd imagine he just chose Strong Volt here. And at this point, what Luke really needs to do is he actually just needs to play a supporter first, and then maybe just retreat his Mewtwo if he can somehow do Bolt Strike this turn. If he can get out 2 Eels and then use a Bolt Strike, he'll be in really good shape. And I think he just drew a Juniper, so he may be able to do this. There's a catcher. I don't feel like well, if he has a DCE, use catcher on that Mewtwo that he just hit, or that just had energy on it. If no DCE in his hand, then I think you just go Juniper here and just go for the Bolt Strike, maybe. In worst case scenario, you can just knock out the his Zekrom with a second hit on Mewtwo. So I think the best plan of action here is just Juniper. But it looks like he has some junk arms, so he is going to be able to do some other stuff with it. I'm not really sure. Maybe junk arm for some dual ball. Oh, he has plus power. Okay, so now he only needs an energy card. This might be interesting. So he okay, so he double plus powers, and now he's bringing up Mewtwo. This is nice. So basically, he's increased his outs for a Mewtwo knockout to really, really high, because now all he needs is a junk arm, a plus power, or an energy card, and he's just got 2 free prizes this way. And then there's going to be a Zekrom EX that is within kill range. So Luke may win this game pretty quickly, unless Stephan has an N. If Stephan can get an N, and Luke even gets a level ball. So he's going to be able to start Dynamotoring onto the Zekrom. and he's going to be able to maybe get himself into a position where he can just lock up this game. So, yeah, Stephan, I think he kind of overextended with that energy attachment, or with that dynamotor rather, and now he's finding himself into a situation where he just can't get out of this. Though it wouldn't have mattered because Luke had the plus power to go with this. But I think Luke's reasoning is just he did this because the number of outs he has is so high that he probably should get two prizes here. So not really sure what Luke's thinking about. Maybe he's thinking about. I'm actually just not sure. So there's at least one eel. I see a couple switches in his hand. He might wanna. No, I think if he had two switches, then he might wanna double switch to just get him out of his hand, and then dynamotor onto Zekrom. And you do this because if he gets N down to 2, then he'll be in pretty bad situation. Yeah, he's just going dynamotor onto Zekrom. Did I see it? Yeah, he has 2 dynamotors. Yeah, so just double dynamotor to Zekrom here. And now Luke basically got it all off that Juniper. He's going to be able to So he's unable to knock out that Mewtwo, but he will put it at 160. Kind of humorous that he couldn't get the energy or plus power. So a little unfortunate for Luke, but this puts Stephan in semi-great shape. He has he's going to go to once he knocks out this Mewtwo, he's going down to 2 prizes, and then Luke can come out with a non-EX, knock out either Mewtwo or Zekrom, go down to 2 prizes. Stephan can retaliate and go down to 1, not retaliate the Terrakion, but just, take another prize, go down to 1, and then what does Luke do? Well, and there's even an N, so it's coming down the N. However, Luke's going to draw 4, so Stephan might want to wait a turn on this. So, yeah, let's see how this works out. There's a plus power. I don't really think he needs that card anymore. He might want to just toss it. And really just brace for the end that will come. He's going to want to use cards like Junk Arm. There's a DCE. He might want to start powering up, repower up Zekrom, maybe. And just retreat here for the Tyrogue. And then just attack, yeah. So he gets a head, or it looks like a tails. Goes the 2 prizes, and now Luke needs he needs a couple cards here. And will he be able to get it? So first thing he's going to need a catcher. And then he's going to need some type of Pokemon who will be able to knock out. I think the biggest threat here is Zekrom, because the other one you can just kind of look at. You can just kind of look at that Mewtwo and knock it out. If you just stare at it hard enough and you just glare at it, it might just take 10 damage and get knocked out just by glaring at it. So that Zekrom probably has the biggest target on its back. The Zekrom EX, I mean. And yeah, so either way, Luke's going to need catcher, and he's going to need a DCE or a switch to get out of that, to get the eel out of that active spot. So he's just going to switch here, and now he just needs catcher. I think when you're digging for cards, yep, Junipers. Yeah, I think he junipered away 3 Junipers too. So it all comes down to, does Luke have catcher or junk arm? And if he does, he'll be in great shape. So, oh no, that's a dual ball. So he has some dual balls. He has some energy, plus power. Oh, he does have junk arm. So Luke will be taking 2 prizes this turn. And now he's just going to need to prepare for the end that will come. In this scenario, I think he can catcher up the... Well, since they both have 1 on it, I don't think... This is actually really tough. Maybe if he can get a Thunderous on board, that'll be great. So he does look at Thunderous and Mewtwo. Just gonna get them both out of the deck. I think Thunderous is more important here, simply because you can just get Thunderous, yeah, and just put a Dynamotor onto it, right? And then if you get the catcher, you can double Dynamotor to Eel, and then catcher up the damaged Mewtwo and use Electric Ball for game. So I think the Thunderous is probably a really good play here. Just start powering it up, and then power both of them up equally. So he is going to even junk arm here. He has to junk arm for a catcher, and his hand will be, or rather, the cards that are left in his hand and deck will be pretty small. So N is likely to not destroy him right away. Like, he can draw out of it pretty well, or rather, as best as he can. And yeah, let's see the junk arm here. He's thinking about dropping down Dynamo too. Yep. So there it goes. Because he knows he only needs to just Thunder Wave that Mewtwo, and that would be game. I don't see any reason to not drop Dynamo. I mean, maybe if he's like, hey, I don't want to get knocked out, and if he sends up, yeah, I guess he might not want to, because he could send up the fresh Mewtwo, and then just X-Ball for knockout. Though he's going to get a knockout on the Zekrom anyways, with that Mewtwo. So, because the Zekrom's going to take 40, and then it's going to take 100 from X-Ball, and so there's no real way for Luke to survive one, or rather, he's gonna lose one Pokemon anyway. So, I would like to see the Tydamo just get dropped anyways, because he does get the Zekrom. Because that benched Mewtwo only takes 10, and one of his guys is gonna get knocked out anyway. So just gives him just gives him more outs, sorta. Like, at least that way he won't need to draw energy along with anything else he needs. So I would like he does have a plus power in his hand. Oh, so he does. Okay, so now if he, I would like to see him. Okay, so he's putting a DCE on that Eelektrik, and he has one lightning in his discard, I believe. So it's going to come down to whether Luke gets the catcher. Stephan will just be going energy to the benched Mewtwo and X-Ball. However, I mean, like, I don't think there's a way for Stephan to get the bench Zekrom powered up unless he has Shaman. But I don't think with all the stuff he plays in his deck, I don't think he runs it. So it will be coming down to just the Mewtwo that's fresh. Yep, there it is. Also, if Luke draws a Mewtwo plus power off this end that's about to hit, Then Luke will be in. Yeah, okay. So it's just gonna all come down to this. There's each player's drawing 2 cards. Stephan is saying, "I win next turn." Luke is saying, "I hope I draw catcher. I really hope I draw catcher." And this is what it's coming down to. So we do see a junk arm and plus power for Stephan, so he will have a catcher next turn, and he'll be in really great shape to just overrun Luke. And it just comes down to this: did Luke draw a catcher, or maybe he drew junk? Oh man, junk arm. Yeah, so Luke hits the catcher off the 2 cards he needs for a junk arm catcher, and knocks out that Mewtwo.